Namaste, Jai Bharat. Finally, some reports from the American sources came about Operation Sindoor, which were much awaited. Many stories behind Operation Sindoor where we have been cheated through propaganda. First of all, China continuously made propaganda about Operation Sindoor to project that in Operation Sindoor, Bharatiya weapons were effectless, they were useless. That's what China was trying to project, because China is another weapon seller. Last time I spoke about weapon sellers. China is another weapon seller. They wanted to tell the world, at least through narratives and propaganda, gibbles or propaganda, that Chinese weapons are superior to those weapons Bharat was using. And this directly goes against Russia and our own weapon system. And also, in particular, that time, we had already procured the French made Rafale. So these three were their target to begin with. So first of all, China is desperate to prove that their weapons are the best, because they are also in the weapon trade. They wanted to get their weapons sold. And as I've told you, this is the greatest income generating business, where the profit is electronic items, you get something like 50 times more profit. But in weapon selling, it's unlimited. Unlimited, because you, whatever the price say, you is the price that you say. No competitors. Those sellers have exclusive rights, and they only can make it, and they only do make it. There are no effective alternatives in many times, many places. So that's China's propaganda against Bharatiya in Operation Sindoor. Whereas in reality, Bharat had destroyed Pakistan's backbone, and in such a manner they just won't be able to stand up for months to come, and maybe to restructure, reconstruct whatever so-called airfield they had. It's going to take time beyond imagination, and it's evident, it's there in the news, which China was trying to negate in the beginning. They continued negating, but then they are the one who started it, but they were supported later. The Kirana Hills, the nuclear stockpile, and 7 road bases were destroyed. Their aircraft which were in hangar, including AWACS system, that's airborne radar, AWACS system, were destroyed. The destructions list is lengthy, but when the request came from America, they had to. Then we said, okay, let them talk to us. Then we stopped it primarily for one reason: we had an objective to achieve. That was already achieved. So there is no further point. We are not interested in destroying the people of Pakistan or their society. We are interested in destroying the terrorism. We know that terrorism just can't be destroyed overnight, but at least give them a shock, and their terror camps were destroyed. So they had to flee. The terrorists had to flee and to make another camps elsewhere, but they would not stop. They would continue doing it. We get some space. That's why Bharat said that Operation Sindoor is not over. It's only kept in abeyance. One more move, we will resume Operation Sindoor. That's simple as that. Now, along with the China narrative, US is another weapon seller. They are also big sellers in the market. They have a weapon market, and the US can't afford to see that the French Rafale is doing well, because they were trying to sell their F-35 and F-16 to people who are possible buyers. And here, of course, once they see the buyers will make choice between many people, and where it is cheap, etc., they will have their own rationale to calculate, buy or not to buy. But US wants to project that their weapons are the best, and so they supported silently China. Rather, they enhanced Chinese narratives. And even so after some time, the president of US himself said that the 8 Rafales were down. France did not speak anything back. I don't think France has seriously taken it. And Bharat, not a single Rafale was down, as a matter of fact. Because we did not send the Rafales across border. It was not necessary. It was not that long a kind of war. It was a test dose, a test lesson to Pakistan, sufficient for them to understand. But they are helpless in ununderstanding it, not understanding it. That's their internal structural complication. So China had made these narratives. They repeatedly giving such narratives of Pakistani success over Bharat. Lies. They have no problem in telling lies. Pakistan has no problem in telling lies. US has no problem in telling lies. They were telling lies. So these narratives. But finally, reports came from US now about they were soft on Pakistan and they could not speak about themselves, but they spoke about China because China is not their some kind of friend. So they said that China was making false narratives against Bharat. I don't know to what extent they realized when they exposed that China was making false narratives against Bharat. They're exposing themselves along with Pakistan. To what extent they were conscious of it, I don't know. But then that is a case. That is a case. These lies were exposed by the liars themselves. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.